We were talking earlier about different utilization things like folks in Appalachia and people in the Depression era they had to use to make the most of what they had in their kitchen. You were telling me about some of the things that you experienced on the farm growing up, and I was curious to hear more about that.
Well, it's like, I know the part of the discussion here was about vinegar pie earlier.
Right,
so,
right.
And I think a lot of people think the vinegar was to replace the fruit in a pie, but actually it's my understanding that it was more to replace the sugar.
Okay.
Because so many of the frontier vinegars here, going back 200 and 300 years, were fruit vinegars, and they were very sweet. And of course, vinegar develops a sugar of its own. So they would cook those down and make a sweet syrup, like a reduction, out of that to use as the flavoring for the vinegar pie. So it would take the place of sugar, which was very hard to find, and it also would give it flavor. So you're utilizing it in a couple of different ways there.
Well, and it's interesting because I had not heard of a vinegar pie until doing research recently, but you grew up with it.
Yes, so I mean, it's a regional sort of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much a regional thing, but perhaps an ethnically regional thing, perhaps, in that my family are Swiss German.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very common thing amongst Swiss Germans.
Okay.
But if you were perhaps Irish, it's not common.
Yeah.
One of the things we've talked a lot about Appalachian cuisine is like it varies like so much, not just from region to region, but from family to family.
Right.
West Virginia in particular is like such a melting pot.
Right.
It's like everybody, like you have little enclaves of Italians and little enclaves of Irish and Swiss here, but for the most part, people were kind of mixed and intermarried quite a bit. So you may have vinegar pie in this part of the county and not at all in this side of the county.
Right,
On the other hand, you might have salt rising bread over here, and we'd never heard of it over there.
Because people treat our culture as though it died during the Cold Wars. They don't realize that Appalachian culture is still very much alive, and folks like yourself, and hopefully with what I'm doing, we're defining what that is in some ways.
Exactly.
And in some ways, we are reaching back into the past, but in other ways, like you're doing with like gastronomy, is to reach into the past from the future and bring it current.
That's the whole idea.
And that's what keeps it alive.